So why do this video? Well, there's two reasons for it. Number one, give the refugees hope that there is better light at the end of the tunnel. And then just for the record, I just Googled it. There are 27 million refugees worldwide right now. 27 million, which is just a crazy huge population. And then the largest country with the refugee population is Turkey. Tough 2 years as a kid, dropping out of school, working in harsh conditions, getting your butt whooped a lot, just about every day. And I saw a quote literally just a couple days ago, which made me think of this video. The refugees of now are gonna be the executives of companies in 10 to 20 years from now. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time here, thanks so much for watching. My name is Ahmet, and let's get started on today's video. Today's video is a very unique one because we're gonna spend a day with the refugee boy that's living in Istanbul and is working in the streets of Istanbul to make a living. So with that said, let me give you some color about this boy. So the boy is 12 years old. He's from northern Iraq. He's making 5 cents an hour, which is most of us is very, very low income. He's the oldest of three, has a younger sister and a younger boy, and they've been here for 2 years. So that's the description of the refugee boy that we're gonna meet here in a little bit. All right, so you guys ready to meet the 12-year-old boy? Here we go. So maybe a little trick video, but you are looking at the 12-year-old refugee kid that used to live in Istanbul. So it's me. So this is gonna be me. Now it's gonna be hard to go back in time and do a video when I was younger, but today I'm gonna show you everything, where we lived, where I worked, where the community is. So I'll show you all that in this video. So that's the goal today. So why do this video? Well, there's two reasons for it. Number one, give the refugees hope that there is better light at the end of the tunnel. I know when I was a refugee, when I was walking the streets of Istanbul, it was the most toughest time as a kid. Like I still remember to this day, everything that I had to go through, my family went through, it was extremely, extremely tough on us. For the 2 years that we lived here, the most exciting time that we had, or I had during those 2 years, was when we had snow days. That was the most excitement I had. And then just for the record, I just Googled it. There are 27 million refugees worldwide right now. 27 million, which is just a crazy huge population. And then the largest country with the refugee population is Turkey. And that's where we are right now. And this is where I was 25 years ago, from 1996 to 1998. That was my time frame here as a kid. So that's number one. Number two is to shed some light for folks that are looking at the refugees from outside. Because what comes to your mind when I say refugee? You probably think of people living in tents, on the government housing, and that's the case on some, but it's not all of it. I would say good amount of it do not live in camps. They have to work on the streets, they live in streets, they sleep in streets, they have a very, very harsh condition. So that's really the two reasons I'm making this video here today. With that said, I want to show you where we lived, the house where we lived. I wouldn't even call it a house, it was a store. It was literally a store, so I'll show you that. And then also the 3 places I worked as a 12-year-old kid and what exactly I did there. So with that said, let's go check it out. Now, we lived in Turkey twice, so let me start from the beginning. First time we lived here was 1991, right after the Desert Storm, Gulf War. We lived right at this place at the lower level right behind us. And this is the view that we had. You can see amazing view. You can see the first bridge. And then the famous hill that I used to bust my behind on the snow days. But I want to start here to show you this because this was planned. So my parents sold everything after Desert Storm, sold everything, and we legally crossed into Turkey. And I still remember it because we had to travel at night and travel through a bunch of landmines that were set by the Turkish military. But we made it through, nobody got hurt, luckily. And then this is where we lived. But that was planned. We sold everything. We had a better lifestyle. Dad had a job. I was in school. I was in first grade here. And those were good days, right? So that was planned. Next place we're gonna go to is where it was not planned. We left everything in 20 minutes because Saddam was attacking northern Iraq, and then they had entire family on the capture and kill list. So we literally left in 20 minutes, and I'm glad we did. If we had not left, we would not have made it. They literally arrived about 15 minutes after we had left. So, but let me show you the house that we moved into in 1996. So this is the place where we lived as an entire family of 5 in 1996. So let me show it to you. So just the lower level is where we lived. Now the door used to be here. So you literally walked in, there was a kitchen here, tiny kitchen, bathroom behind it, living room, 1 bedroom, and this was the storage where we kept the coals. So that was our living situation. And I don't want to show too much because people living there, I want to be respectful of the time. So Let me tell you about this place. So this place, size-wise, I would estimate about 350 square foot. That was the entire space. And you literally had a very small kitchen, and the countertop was basically the size of my arm. That's how much countertop you had. Bathroom right behind it with no door. We had to use a curtain to make it a door for privacy. Me and my siblings would literally sleep either in the living room or in the other room that was very, very small, so we would have to rotate because you couldn't fit everybody there. You have to split up. And then for winter, we had no central heating. So for winter, we would have to burn coal or wood that we find or we get donated to us. And in the summer, we had no air conditioning, so we had to use fan. You know, portable fan or electric fan is what we had to use, or open the windows. So that was our living conditions. And like I said, the places, I wouldn't even call it a house. It was a storage space that had turned into a house. So, and we're grateful for it. We were able to have some place to live because a lot of people did not. And the thing is, during that time, a lot of folks in the community actually who helped us get on our feet, get us furniture, get us coals, a lot of times bring us food. So we're definitely blessed for that, those times. Now, the first place I worked as a middle school dropout, and I was making 5 cents an hour. I'm not kidding you. That was the income back in the mid-90s here. So the place you see right there is where we lived, and then this is my first job right here. So this place was a factory that made clothes, and they made the long clothes for women. So from here down, it was a split in the middle with the buttons. And I was the guy right here by the door, the kid by the door, and they used to iron them with a big iron press. So that was my job. And I would work here easily anywhere from 12 hours to 16 hours a day. And then usually about 6 days a week. So, and then for lunch, I would go over there, have lunch at the house, or mom would bring it here, and then mom would come check up on me every hour because the door was open, she could see inside. So every hour, some mom would walk by, make sure I'm still alive, nobody's killed me or kidnapped me. So that was my first job here as a kid. Huge iron press on women's clothing. The next place that I worked was just on the street. So all three of them were walking distance for where we lived. So this is the second place I worked through these doors. So let me tell you about the second place I worked. Now this place paid me extremely, extremely well. Like it paid me 20 times more than it should. And that's because an elderly lady that was a neighbor up the street, up the hill from the first house, that really liked us. She did everything possible to make sure we were set. And her son had a business. Her family had a business where it was a transportation business where they moved goods from here to different parts of Istanbul. So she made sure that I received good money, and God bless her soul. She helped us a lot. We're thankful. So I worked here for about a year. What I would have to do is come here early in the morning. I'm talking about like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, and spend at least 5 or 6 hours here, load up large merchandising. A lot of it was electronics good for electric outlets, lights, you name it, but this was very labor intensive work. So come here, load up a huge truck. It would literally take me hours to load it up, and then drive with the driver to the store on the Europe site in Fatah. And then that was like another 2-3 hours one way, and then unpack the same truck that I packed over there and then put it on display. And like I said, I'm blissful, the job was good, but this job had a lot of dudes in it. And once they found out how much I was getting paid, and I've never told this to my parents, so this is probably their first time hearing it on video with you guys. I got my butt whooped every single day by those dudes because I was getting paid more than they were. So it was not fun, let's just say that. These are grown freaking men beating the crap out of me because I was getting paid more. So, and I dealt with that for like a year. So it is what it is, it's life, made me stronger. Here we are, 20-some years later. Look at the world now. So, but that's the second job right here. Now the first job with the iron, it was a lot of ladies, a lot of female. So they were very nice to me, very kind to me. A lot of them were mothers. So it was a different environment. I was treated very, very well in that community. The next place is the third place I worked. So let's go check that out. Now, before we go to our next place, I want to show you something that has a lot of memories with me. The phone booth. So this was the phone booth back in the day where you put in a card, call locally or nationally. This is the only place in the entire area right here that had a phone booth, and there was 2 of them, I remember. So the reason I remember that is going with my dad to the phone station multiple times, and kind of give you some more color why I had to drop out of school, because my sister was sick, my younger sister was sick. The medication she had to have was extremely expensive, so that's one of the reasons I dropped out of school to start working, which is very common, in countries like Turkey and whatever, where an older person drops out of school to support the family. I remember going with my dad to that phone station. We had relatives overseas that he had to call as a last resort option to get money in emergency situations. And I remember majority of the time that the answer was no, sorry, we cannot send you any money. You're on your own. And that was tough. As a little kid, to see your dad, go through that, it's not a fun times, unfortunately. So that's the other memory on the phone booth as a kid. All right, folks, here's the next place, or the last place I worked. And I only worked here for a couple months. And this place was furniture. So they made custom-made furniture. Worked here for a couple months. It was a family-owned. It was a father and a dude. And then my short memory of experiences here, every time I made a mistake, I got my butt whooped really, really bad. So, you know, it's just one of those things that I want to say it's unfortunately common with younger generations working in an environment like this where they make a mistake. It's not like you get a coaching from a corporate world of like US. You pretty much get your butt whooped, you know, get slapped in the face really hard multiple times. So, and that was my experience here with this family. And also the spray they put on the furniture, it made me really, really sick. So I literally had to leave. I remember when finally I quit the job, walked home because I had a hard time breathing because there was no mask when you sprayed it. You had to breathe that crap in. So, you know, I want to finish on a positive note here. My dad wrote a letter because there was no internet back then to a third-ranked highest person in UN and sent it to Istanbul and got us an interview. So went in for an interview, and then a couple months later, a Baptist church outside of Atlanta, Georgia, actually accepted our invite and took us in and really set us up for success. So, you know, wrapping up the video, tough 2 years as a kid, dropping out of school, working in harsh conditions, you know, getting your butt whooped a lot, you know, just about every day, and seeing your relatives, you know, live in tough conditions and having your younger siblings have, you know, medical challenges, you know, it was not fun. So, but at the end of the day, I go back to the beginning of the video, I share this for two reasons. Number one, these are the conditions that refugees, a lot of them go through, unfortunately, and we just don't know about it. And number two, the refugees that are going through it, and I saw a quote literally just a couple days ago, which made me think of this video. The refugees of now are gonna be the executives of companies in 10 to 20 years from now. And I thought that was really powerful. So the refugees of that are the executives. And then I'll look back in mine, and trust me, I only accomplished middle management in corporate America, but I was able to, you know, make really good money while I was there. So if I can do that, the future executives and the current refugees that are watching this video, you know, there is light at the end of the tunnel. You can make it. You know, it's a tough couple of years. It sucks. You know, there's no way sugarcoating it. But if you keep your head down, there's a better chance for you at the end of the day when it's all said and done. And it was for us, you know, with examples I share. But with that said, that is all I have on this video, but thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. At the end of this screen, you got 2 more videos coming your way. If you want to continue watching, please click on those. If you're not following us, please do so. With that said, thanks so much, guys.